reporter said, Chris Cowlin offering us the United and Tottenham perspective. Despite the poor form of United this season, are they a very different prospect in the final?
Well, a different prospects in Europe, so I think we've got to treat this like a European game, even though it is a Premier League opposition, because you've seen our record in the Premier League, it's been pretty woeful, but in Europe we've had some pretty impressive results, and you saw the game against Lyon, for example, was 3 extra time goals. That felt like a moment, and it'd be a shame if it counted for nothing. So yeah, we are a different animal in Europe, and I just hope we continue that tonight.
Chris, I see you've got the t-shirt, specially made, Bilbao final. Could you add a trophy on that?
We need to. A trophy is way overdue at Spurs. 17 long years without a trophy. Of course, the last one was the League Cup. 41 years without a European trophy. I feel confident. Of course, we've played Manchester United 3 times this season. We've beat them on all occasions, but this is the one that really matters. And yeah, I just really hope that we are, singing, and it is a glorious night later on.
What atmosphere are you expecting? Set the scene for us in the square here, because this is going to be full, isn't it, with Spurs and United fans later?
It would be incredible. The 2019 Champions League final was incredible. The Spurs fans were out in force. They were out in force last night in Bilbao, and I just expect a glorious atmosphere. Everyone singing and everyone in a party atmosphere.
Expecting that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's going to be packed in it. You knew as soon as United got to the final, Spurs got to the final, the tickets would be like gold dust. There's loads of fans coming over here. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty explosive atmosphere, and I'm looking forward to it.
I think everybody is. Let's hope you two are still talking after the final tonight. Jay, Chris, thanks very much indeed. It does seem extraordinary, doesn't it? I think of all the games, it seems mad that you've got 2 teams who've played as badly as Tottenham and Manchester United have, 16th, 17th. In fact, as far as league position, I don't think we've ever seen 2 teams finishing as lowly as these two have and making it through to a European final, but they've done it, and I guess form goes out the window. It's all about the silverware, the trophy, and that is what the fans are here to see. Who gets over the line tonight is anyone's guess. United or Spurs? United, Spurs. Spurs, United. Spurs, United.
You're never going to get a consensus from those two, are you?
Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all keeping well. So it is final day, Europa League final 2025. Tottenham Hotspur take on Manchester United. Please, Tottenham Hotspur, deliver this trophy. Tottenham Hotspur v Manchester United in the Europa League final. Really looking forward to this game. Of course, Spurs have beat Manchester United 3 times this season, twice in the Premier League and once in the League Cup. But this is the game that really does matter. And as you just said, 17 long years without a trophy, 41 years without a European trophy. Ange Postecoglou, the Spurs boss, always says that he wins a trophy in his 2nd season. I'm really hoping he is delivering this evening. There is nothing I want to see more than Captain Heung-min Son lifting that trophy and parading it down the high road on Friday. But the atmosphere here is incredible. The atmosphere last night was incredible amongst the Tottenham Hotspur supporters, and a lot of us are feeling very confident.
How many fans will have made the trip, Chris, from Tottenham Hotspur and Man U?
There's just under 15,000 tickets per club. Right. And we're expecting another 15,000 or even more than that to travel out. But the lengths that people have gone to travel out to Bilbao, I've got friends, a friend of mine, Jamie, he's got in a camper van for 15 hours. People have gone by boat. People have gone, via planes, you name it, to get here, because it is such an important game for the football club. And of course, it's important for next season as well, because you win the Europa League, you go into the Champions League, and when you've got a stadium like ours, training facilities, etc., which is great at the football club, but we haven't won a trophy in so long, and Champions League football is very important for the football club going forward.
Yeah, and of course, this is the Europa League, full of European teams. turns out we English are still quite good at something because we've got 2 teams in the final.
It's true, but of course, in the Premier League, both teams are sitting in 16th and 17th. You know, neither club want to be in that position. And, you know, it's going to be great for the winner, but it's going to be absolutely awful for the loser today. I'm certainly hoping that we're not on that receiving end because, you know, I was at the final in 2019 against Liverpool. You know, the atmosphere, you know, it remains one of the best days of my life up until 20 seconds into that game where, of course, the penalty was given. And shouldn't have been. But, you know, as I said, I'm just hoping that these players really do deliver, you know, and become heroes because they don't want to be remembered for finishing 17th in the Premier League table.
And have you got a prediction for the score, Chris?
I'm going to go 2-1. Spurs never, ever do things easy, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if we go 1-0 down and then claw it back. But as long as Son and Postecoglou are lifting that trophy later on this evening, I'll tell you what, all the Spurs fans will be partying on these streets of Bilbao all night long.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. I'll tell you that. But yeah, massive game tonight. It is live on TalkSport. Manchester United against Tottenham in the Europa League final, live from Bilbao. That quote, by the way, Andy, right at the start of that piece, where, you know, the famous one, always wins things in his second year. It could end up being one of the greatest ever.
No, it'd be tremendous.
It would be amazing, wouldn't it?
There's a part of me that wanted to happen just for that. Because,
just for that.
You know, I think he's a good player. I remember when he did some TV analysis, I think one of the tournaments, maybe the World Cup or the Euros, I can't remember now. But he was great. He came across, you know, and often these managers, they're under so much pressure that it does sort of warp them. They become something that they're not really. And he seems to me like a really good bloke. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Joining us now is Chris Cowlin from the Spurs Chat podcast. How you doing, Chris?
Ollie, Andy, good afternoon to you. Yes, I'm out in Bilbao. Really, really looking forward to.
Oh, you're frozen. We were going to say to you, where do you stand on Ange? Basically, you're frozen.
Yeah, he looked so excited there that he cut off. I think, Chris, we'll see if we can get Chris back in just a moment.
It will be interesting. I mean, you know, Daniel Levy's pretty ruthless, and if they really don't think that Ange is the guy for the future, it doesn't matter whether they win it or not, he probably will go. But
it does put Levy
in a harsh, though. Yeah,
it would be a really tough position. That, but then again, like you said, I mean, he's someone who has fired a manager in the week of their final, so it wouldn't be out of character, would it? But
then you've got
it's harsh though.
But you've got this period at the start of the season before the season gets really busy with Europe and everything, where you've had a pre-season and you've got a chance to do something. You know, if they kept Ange and he made a decent start, then it might be all right. Same with Amorim, really. It's exactly whereas both of them, if they make a poor start, they're going to be under so much pressure immediately. Yeah. So even whoever wins tonight.
Yeah, very, very true. I think we have Chris back. Chris, are you there?
Ollie, Andy, good afternoon to you.
There he is.
We're about to ask you because we've been debating Ange's future. Where do you stand on Ange?
I think the Brighton home game on Sunday will probably be his last game. You know, it has been a very dismal league season in the Premier League. You know, not only the results, it's just the manner of the performances in the Premier League, but we have been a different animal in the Europa League. And, you know, as you guys have been talking about, you know, he could deliver that trophy in his second season. And I think that it would just be like a mic drop moment of saying, well, there you go, there's your trophy. And I feel like it would be, you know, his last game on Sunday, he can go off. He can be happy that the fact that he's kept up his record. And let's face it, if he wins a trophy with Spurs this evening, he has done what a lot of people have failed to do. You know, Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte, Mauricio Pochettino. And, you know, the amount of great players that we've had at the football club, we haven't quite got over that line.
It's true. And also his reputation will then be restored to a certain extent and he'll probably get another job. But is there no temptation to think, you know what, we should keep him? You never know. He might get it right. Or you think the Levy and the majority of the fans want him out?
I think the majority of the fans do want him gone this summer, which is incredible, really, because, you know, we record the podcast a couple of times a week. And in the last couple of years, the amount of Spurs fans that we've had on, and they've said, I'd rather finish mid-table. We want a trophy. You know, I'd rather win a trophy rather than the league position. And, of course, we're now in that position. You know, it could be one of the greatest nights in our history this evening. And then, of course, the manager leaves. But, you know, you cannot keep performing like that, like we have done in the Premier League, you know, week in, week out. It has been very, very tough this season to watch the league games.
If Spurs do win tonight, it becomes a real plum job. I mean, they've got good players. They'll be in the Champions League. You know, if whoever wins tonight, the future looks good. Whoever loses, the future looks bleak.
Absolutely. Of course, I was at the 2019 Champions League final that we lost, and you know, that was a fantastic day up until 20 seconds in when that penalty was given. But I was in Madrid a couple of days after that, and I must say I didn't really talk to anyone a week after that final. So I don't really want to be, you know, thinking about that. It's got to be a glorious night for Spurs tonight, because, you know, we've played Manchester United 3 times this season. We've won all of those 3 games, 2 in the Premier League and 1 in the League Cup. And, you know, this is the game that does really matter. Well, I keep saying, I keep saying that these players have got to take opportunities and be heroes this evening. You know, they don't want to be remembered for finishing 17th in the Premier League table.
How are you feeling about the game, though, Chris? I mean, no Kulusevski, no Bergvall, no Maddison. You know, how much of a worry is it that you're missing such key players for this?
It's a big loss, but of course, all season Spurs have had so many injuries. I know it's the narrative that the media like to use about Ange Postecoglou keeps saying about the injuries, but it is true. We've had so many injury problems. Gutted for those players, a little bit worried about the creativity, but as I said, the players do need to step up. Whoever plays in the starting 11 today, they all need to step up. They all need to give absolutely everything and be remembered as, you know, being part of a winning side, rather than having such a dismal season, because we do not want to go into next season with playing no European football. You know, Champions League for us would be absolutely massive. And, of course, we get bantered so often about not winning trophies, not getting over that line. You know, 17 long years without a trophy, 41 long years without a European trophy. I just hope tonight is a special night for us.
I think Andrew was right when he said nobody wants Spurs to win a trophy. Because it doesn't suit the narrative, does it, of being Spursy and all that stuff. Whereas if they lose, then that can continue. So, yeah, not always fair, really. But, you know, I suppose they have got a record of losing in finals. We'll have to see. Finally, also, we've read a lot this morning in the papers about how difficult it was to get to Bilbao, how expensive it was, how hard it was to get a ticket. What about your personal experience?
I actually booked my flights after we beat Frankfurt. I know how these things work because, as I mentioned, the Champions League final 6 years ago, the prices were just absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, just around the corner, I'm in central Bilbao at the moment, and hotels just around the corner are charging £3,000 to £4,000 per night.
Whoa, wow.
If you stay here next week, it's £70 a night. But I got 2 planes here, so my trip was straightforward. But I've got friends who have gone in camper vans, 15-hour journeys. You know, they come by boat. You know, whatever you need to do, you get to these sorts of games because you want to see Spurs lift that trophy and be successul.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, enjoy it, Chris.
I hope it goes well for you. Genuinely, I do, yeah. That's because I don't want United to win, basically.
Exactly. Chris Cowlin there. There we go, from the Spurs Chat podcast. Yeah, I love that it's all about Man United for you, Andy. So it's not necessarily wishing Spurs well, is it? But yeah.
Just for the reasons I said at the start of the show, you know, whatever, even if Spurs end up in the Champions League, yeah, they'll be all right. They'll do okay, but believe it won't. You know, they're not going to become what United could be.
Yeah, it's the threat, isn't it,
if
of
they
Man United.
You know, if they can return to what they were before, which is obviously what all United fans want, and tonight would help if they win.
Well, yeah, we're going to speak to a Manchester United fan next. Nathan Aspinall, darts player, is going to join us in just a moment.
boys. Gareth, how you feeling? Buzzing. We're doing the Tottenham walk. The Spurs are marching on the Bilbao Stadium on the San Mamés. Absolutely delighted, confident, and grateful to be here. Score prediction, Gareth. 1-0 Spurs, Solanke. 1-0. 1-0. Game 2-1. Come on, let's do this. Come on, you Spurs. mates from there. It's half time and it's 1-0 to Tottenham. Luke Shaw own goal. Tottenham 45 minutes away, come on.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the post-match press conference of the winning 2025 UEFA Europa League coach, Ange Postecoglou.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ali, let's start us off.
Congratulations, Ange. I mean, you've told these players throughout they were going to do something special this season. How does it feel to see that realised?
Yeah, look, it's hard sort of to put into words the emotions. Super proud of the players. To quote my favourite Australian Prime Minister, Paul Keating, he said, after an unlikely victory, he said, this is one for the true believers. And this is certainly one for the true believers. And that means, an unbelievable group of players who never wavered, never lost faith in me and what we were doing. Unbelievable football staff led by brilliant coaches. People who work at the club, from board down, whether that's Lily White House or at the training ground, and supporters. I know people think I've got this sort of fractious relationship, but every supporter I ever bumped into was just so kind in reassuring me that, they believed in what I was doing. I'd never felt, I understand the disappointment we've put them through this year, particularly in the league, but just seeing them tonight, the impact it has on them. Some of them, it's obviously 17 years since our last trophy, 41 in Europe. Some of them have never had a night like this. So, but, it's a reward for them. And, finally to my beautiful wife and my boys and my family, my friends who, they're all my inspiration because I'm kind of the front man. It's easy for me to sort of take on the responsibility, but they've got no choice but to come along for the ride, and just seeing them out there now on the pitch, smiling faces, couldn't be happier.
Congratulations. I know you've not wanted to make this Europa League run about you, but is this your biggest achievement? You've had some amazing achievements in your career, but given the circumstances, given it sort of became this all or nothing match, is it your biggest achievement?
Look, I feel if I say that, then it diminishes, not for me, the other achievements, but the people I shared them with. But it's definitely been the toughest thing I've ever done, without a shadow of a doubt. And I knew that going into it. You know better than me that this club's had some unbelievable world-class coaches, world-class players, and they haven't had a night like this. So I knew what I was taking on. And it's fair to say that it's been really challenging because, wherever else I've had success by this stage, I've kind of had the faith and trust of everybody. And here it's been different. And I understand that's not a criticism. It's just, I think, because of the club and the way it's sort of its recent history or its history, I don't think they could always ever go all in on one person. And for me, that's always how it's worked well when, people kind of back my vision. So, but within that, I think when we got to sort of the end of January, the end of the transfer window, and I kind of assessed our situation, I just made a decision there and then that this was the trophy we were going to go for. And, it probably was at odds with what other people at the club sort of believed at the time we should do. And that's understandable. But I just really believed we could win. We could win this. And sort of everything we've done since then, everything we've done at training, everything we've done in terms of the games, the teams I've selected is about making sure when these games came around, the Europa games, that we're in the best possible condition to tackle them. And that's come at a cost for sure in the league, and I've got to take the responsibility for that. But I just felt like the end game of winning something was more important, and it was the only way I was going to do it.
Congratulations. Thanks, you've spoken about what a turning point this could be, the growth that the team can get from this victory. How hungry are you to drive this team forward, given the Champions League football next season?
Yeah, very, because we've got a really young group. of players, and you can talk to them about success and what it means, but until they feel it, it doesn't become real. And I've got no doubt that all those boys tonight, having this feeling, will want this again. And to get it again, they're going to have to make similar sort of sacrifices. They've climbed the mountain now, so they know that what it takes to sort of get to where we are. And I think that does it accelerates the opportunities to build a team that can be successful and competitive at the highest level for years to come. So, as I said yesterday, I still feel there's a lot of work to be done. I think that's quite obvious, but not as much work as people may think. People can bang on about our 20 league defeats and where we are, but they're missing the point of what we're trying to build here, or what I'm trying to do anyway. And I really feel that tonight can be a great platform for us to kick on.
You said a minute ago that at the end of the January window you decided full focus on the Europa League. Does that explain the really sort of ruthless, efficient style that we've seen overcome Alkmaar, Frankfurt, Bodo Glimt, and now tonight? And how did you find the players kind of bought into that when that was the plan?
No, that wasn't part of it. But I've always treated, I've had a lot of success in my career, and not just sort of winning leagues, but also, in Australia, I grew up playing finals football to win a championship. So knockout football is always different. All my teams have always played a little bit different in knockout games, because that you've got to have a real clear game plan. Big games come down to moments. You've got to limit the moments of the opposition. You've got to change your approach. And the players embrace that, because, that was always going to be our approach in Europe, and it's why we did well in the Carabao Cup as well. We beat some decent teams in the Carabao Cup, including City, including United, and we beat Liverpool in the first league, played a similar way. But also it helps that I've got Van der Ven and Romero and Vicario and Udogie and Porro, all these guys available. And again, that was part of the sort of mindset of making sure they were available for these big games. And I thought the lads handled the whole Europa sort of knockout stages, brilliantly. Knew what we had to do. Were really efficient with what we did, and I think got the just rewards.
Hi, Ange. Well done. You mentioned a lot of people at the top there. Your dad's no longer with us, but what would he make of his son doing this, and what does it mean back in Australia as well?
Yeah, he's still with me, mate. His voice is in my head all the time, and as I get older, I look in the mirror, I see his face sometimes, which is frightening as it seems. He's with me all the time, mate. My dear mum's in Greece with my sister, and my nephews. I'm sure they're over the moon, and it's massive in Australia and in Greece. I've got family in both countries and friends in both countries, and they've been along for the journey the whole way. And it's hard because I'm big enough and ugly enough to take whatever comes my way, but they get hurt when people sort of come at me, and they pay the price, particularly those closest to me, my beautiful family and my friends, and they want to defend me. And I keep telling them it's a small price to pay when you have nights like this. And I've been fortunate. I've had plenty of nights like this, and just seeing them tonight. And I know everyone in Australia, they would have got up early in the morning. They'll be buzzing, and people in Greece, and more importantly, the people here with me. It's another special night we share together.
Hi, Ants. Congratulations. You talk about backing your vision. I mean, how does a club let go of a manager who's just delivered them their first trophy in 41 years in European competition?
Look, I think I said yesterday, I'm pretty kind of, not relaxed is not the word, because I'd be disappointed if we couldn't continue on this path. But, like I said, it's not a criticism. I understand why it would be difficult for a club like this to buy into one person's vision. I remember even when I signed, it was kind of, the club, I think even Daniel sort of said, we went after winners, it didn't work, and now we've got Ange. And, mate, I'm a winner. I've been a serial winner my whole career. It's what I've done more than anything else, and I know people talk about my football, which I'm very proud of, and I know people dismiss my achievements because, they didn't happen to happen on this side of the world. But for me, they're all hard earned, and all I've done my whole career is win things. And but I understand, look, obviously the way things have gone in the league, people are rightly to be concerned about. Like I said, I don't think there's a true reflection of where we're at. But whatever happens, I said my own sort of belief in what I do doesn't waver, and I'll continue to kind of push on to do what I do.
Ange, well done. It was noticeable at the end, the players were celebrating with unbridled joy. You were standing back quietly. Is that just your style, or was there an element of relief as well?
Oh, there's huge relief. I mean, you ask any manager, and I'm telling you that's the biggest feeling, because you carry the weight of responsibility. I mean, I think this is maybe our 59th game or 60th game this year. That means me and Anthony have been in front of you guys 120 times, plus the extras that we do. I mean, that's probably 150, 160 times I've been a spokesman for this football club this year. And I know everything I say is important. Fair to say I don't always get it right. So all that kind of responsibility weighs on your shoulders. And so it is. It's relief, but also I'm a lot older than those guys, mate. And I've learned to understand that what makes nights like these memorable is to remember them. So I kind of stand back and just watch everyone else enjoy it, and that's all I need.
James, final one, please.
Congratulations, Ange. I know you said you're sort of relaxed about the situation, but can you just give us an idea of what the next few days are like? Is there a meeting planned with Daniel or with the hierarchy? Because you must want some clarity one way or the other.
No planned meetings. I haven't had any discussions. No one's spoken to me about anything. Maybe they felt like they don't need to, or they're waiting for this game. Look, what I do know is that I'm going to go back to my hotel room, get my family and friends together, open up a nice bottle of scotch, have a couple of quiet ones, get ready for a massive parade on Friday, play Brighton on Sunday, really important, our last home game. We want to finish strong, and then Monday I'm going on holidays with my beautiful family, because I deserve it. And que sera, sera.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. In the middle here, please.
Good evening. Congratulations on the winning of the title. You've achieved something that some of the Tottenham players have never experienced. How do you feel now? And do you appreciate it, or what do you have in your mind right now?
Yeah, unbelievable feeling, of course. It's been a tough season for all of us. In the league, we didn't perform really well. Everybody was doubting us. But I think we all proved them wrong. And today we're here, we're lifting the trophy, and we made some history for the club. So yeah, that's of course an unbelievable feeling.
Congratulations, Mickey. How have you managed to keep the faith throughout this season, and how much has the manager been a key part of that?
Yeah, of course, what I said, like the season was so tough, like in the league. But every time when we played in Europe, we showed our quality, and we showed how we can play. And also what you said, the gaffer was a big role in this success. He kept believing in us, the whole staff kept believing in us, and he just made sure we stayed together. And we as a group, we stayed together also, and we kept believing. And till the day of today, we kept believing that we could create history with this group, and we did it today.
Congratulations, Mickey. The manager's just said he wants to build on the success next season. Do you feel, as a group of players, that you can have more success under this manager going forward?
Yeah, of course, we want to build on. And to be honest, now we just want to celebrate, and we want to enjoy this moment. But yeah, of course, we want to do something special also next year. And of course, every year you want to be successful, and every year you want to achieve something. But really haven't thought about it, to be honest. But what I said, now we just want to celebrate, and we want to do, like beautiful stuff now.
Hi, Mickey. Congratulations. You guys have played an amazingly efficient, pragmatic game in the last few rounds to win this competition. Can you explain like what specifically the plan was and how the manager convinced you to play this way?
Of course, you have a plan beforehand, but everybody changed because, of course, you can say what you expect from the game, but the game is always going to be different. So we wanted to play our own game, and you saw the first half, they created some chances, we created some chances. The game was, I think, a bit 50-50, and we scored our goal. And then the second half, of course, they pressed us more backwards. I think that's normal also when you're 1-0 up and they needed to score. And I think we defended it really well. I have to think about like the header from Shaw and then the header from Højlund. But I think we defended it really well, and we kept the clean sheet again. Like what you said, also in the last couple of games in Europe, we proved everybody that we are a really good side, and we played so well. Of course, like the AZ Alkmaar game away was a tough game, but all the other games we performed so well, and we showed everybody that what we could do, and we did the same today in the final.
Hi, Mickey. Congratulations. You said before the game that you wanted to silence the banter people. Does that now stop? And are Tottenham now no longer a banter club?
Probably they will continue, but I don't care anymore. We proved them wrong, and we won a trophy, so they can say whatever they want. And we lifted that trophy today, and that's the most important for us and for the fans and also for the club.
Congratulations, Mickey. Can you talk us through that goal line clearance? That looked painful as well.
I can tell you it was painful also. I think Vic came out and the ball bounced on his head. I don't know how, to be honest, but the ball came to Højlund, and I was like, I need to go to the goal line, because if he had it over Vic, then it's going to be a goal. And I saw the ball coming, and to be honest, the ball was high, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But I just tried everything I could, and I saved it. And it was all worth it because we kept the clean sheet. Some back issues afterwards, but it's all worth it.
George, final question, please.
Hi, Mickey. Congratulations. The manager said back in September he always wins things in his second season, and he still believes he can. Kind of now that you've actually done it, what did the squad kind of make of that at the time, and did that give you belief sort of during this run that if he can say that out in public, we can definitely do it?
The gaffer said this, and I think he proved he's done it. So he won again something in his second year, and everybody that was doubting him, everybody that was doubting us, we all proved them wrong this year. And of course, it was a really tough season in the league. We didn't perform well, and it was really poor from our side. Of course, I can say that. I can't say something else than that. But in the league, in Europe, we did so well, and to be honest, I'm really happy that he said I win always things in my second year. We made sure he could keep saying this. So, we're happy for him. We're happy for the team. And, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone. That concludes tonight's press conferences. Congratulations once again to Tottenham Hotspur. Thank you. Safe journey home.
Yeah, dream come true, 100%, and I believed it from day one that we can win the Europa League, and today's the final day that happens, and more than happy, luckiest the guy, happiest the guy in the world. – 2015 Asian Cup, he beat me in the final, so today, 2025, after 10 years, we win together. Football is mad, and very happy. And what can I say? Grateful having this manager, and let's just celebrate. Look, I stayed here. I talked yesterday as well in the press conference. I stay here around 10 years because I want to win the trophy because nobody done it. So maybe it's the hardest way, but maybe it's the wrong way. I don't care because I want to do these things, And I'm the type who always want to have challenges. And today, I think before the season started, nobody believed we're gonna win the Europa League, but we did it. And as a captain of club, so proud of this team and proud of the players, and well deserve it. I don't care what people criticize us, but they all will be always criticizing us again. But look, I mean, as yesterday after the in the press conference again, this will be the first trophy after 17 years. We hope we can change the mentality of a club and mentality of a fan base, and we can continue to work, and we can continue to challenge another trophy. And I hope will happen that change the whole environment. Yeah, I was missing. I was looking after my medal, so yeah, it took quite a while. So when I went back to changing room, they was giving me medals. So finally I got it. So yeah, lucky to have them. I just finished the game. How do I contact him? So I mean, probably he will message me. If not, he's on holiday. Let him enjoy holiday. So probably he's also the happiest guy in the world right now because he's a big Spurs fan. As I said, look, this is a big one to change the whole environment and the whole mentality, and next season is gonna be even bigger competition. So we just gotta be ready for big challenges, and I think we all will be ready.
Ah sì? Vale. Oh, just pure madness, of course. After this trophy, you know, is just to explain and to try to think of what we've been through this season. And today is our day, so we need to celebrate a lot because we make history tonight. Yeah, I think he has been the first to believe in this Europa League campaign. He said to us since day one, we need to win this competition. But one thing is to say, and one thing is to do it, and we did it all together. So his message has stayed on the back of our minds since the campaign has started. And tonight, of course, we get the rewards, we get the spotlight because Tottenham Hotspur are champions. You know, they won the Europa League, but we've been through a lot of tough moments, and he has always stayed with us. The gaffer has always stayed with us, and he always believed in us and in what we could deliver, and tonight we did it. Yeah, of course. When you win something and you are recognized like champion for something, is of course all the jokes, all the things about being Spursy and this kind of stuff. Now, I don't know. Maybe we stop at that, and we are very happy for ourselves, like I said, for what we've been through this season. And now we're looking forward. We will see next season. Of course, playing the Champions League is a massive achievement. Is where this club has to stay, and we deliver. So we're gonna enjoy the Champions League the next season. To be part with him and being part of his history of this football club and of his history and about his career, I think we will be, remembered each other for the entire life. I am sure when one day I will go with my family in Korea, he will host me for sure, and I will do it if he wants to come in Italy for sure. Because when you lift something, together in the same squad, in the same group, it will be always remembered for the entire life. I made also a big mistake, and Mickey van de Ven saved me. So it's part of football, guys, and it's for the keeper. The line to be balanced is very, very smooth, very, very tiny. But yeah, tonight, of course, is a bit of balance. I've been lucky in some situation. I tried to help the team, and of course, we deliver the trophy. See you. Vale, lo sé, sí, claro. Jugar un final en un estadio así y así importante, con mucha afición de Spurs aquí, y ganar aquí, vale, pues que es un día inolvidable para nuestro club, para nuestro equipo, y vale, sí, podremos volver aquí, jugar contra Atleti la próxima temporada de Champions. Podría ser un otro sueño que no vamos a aguantar.
Very historic. I think we can all be proud of what we achieved this season. I think everybody knows how much of a difficult season it's been for us. Loads of injuries. In the league, we've not done what we expected to do, but I think winning this trophy just really caps it off, and I think we put everything into it, and it's an amazing feeling to win this trophy and bring a trophy back to North London. Probably entirely, because like you said, we've had a very difficult season. A lot of injuries. It's not always been easy for us, all of us, and he's always believed in us. He's always motivated us before every game just to do our best and take this opportunity. He's coming. He always said we would do something special. We believed, we listened to him, and I think the reward is what happened today. 100%. I think it's an experience. I think we all learned a lot from this game, and just how important it is and how much we need to invest to win a final. Even just to invest to win a competition, and yeah, it's just it means the world, and I feel like it's going to help us in the future, definitely.
A quick message for the Arsenal fans. They've won this season without a trophy, and now they're your neighbours.
To be honest, I couldn't care less what they do. Or I'm at Tottenham Hotspur, who just won the Europa League. I'm over the moon about that. Exactly. I mean, Champions League football next season, where Spurs deserves to be and should be, and I'm glad to be part of the group that has made that happen. Cheers. Thank you.
We've known it to be true for so long here. That has spread throughout the world, and that feeling of euphoria is shared in his hometown of Melbourne. Bruce, I don't follow soccer, but I do follow Ange. He's an inspiration to all Australians to follow your dream, work hard, and you can achieve what you want. It is a moment of momentous achievement.
How they have waited, how they have thirsted. Glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspur. Spurs have gone and done it at last. Ange Postecoglou has delivered as he promised he would.
I know everyone in Australia, they would have got up early in the morning. They'll be buzzing, and people in Greece, and more importantly, the people here with me. It's another special night we share together. It's not a criticism. I understand why it would be difficult for a club like this to buy into one person's vision. I remember when I signed, it was kind of, the club. Well, even Daniel sort of said, we went after winners, it didn't work, and now we've got Ange, and mate, I'm a winner. I've been a serial winner my whole career. It's what I've done more than anything else. What I do know is that I'm going to go back to my hotel room, get my family and friends together, open up a nice bottle of scotch, and have a couple of quiet ones, get ready for a massive parade on Friday, play Brighton on Sunday, really important. Our last home game, we want to finish strong, and then Monday I'm going on holidays because with my beautiful family because I deserve it. And que sera, sera.
Que sera, sera. He has delivered Tottenham its first trophy in 17 years. We've picked up friends along the way in the 2 seasons Ange has been at Spurs. One of those, Chris Cowlin, who, when they were in Melbourne last year, came and sat with us in the studio. So it's 2 a.m. in Bilbao. I think you're on somebody else's phone by now, Chris, with your own battery that's died. It's great to have you on the program. Congratulations, Chris.
Oh, it's amazing. It is an amazing feeling. Yeah, I'm sorry about the background noise because there's a lot of Spurs fans celebrating at the moment.
And there should be. So I've kept an eye on your socials right throughout the day, from the march to the ground to being inside. Just share the sense of euphoria with us.
Oh, it's just been so overdue because we haven't had a trophy in 17 years. We haven't had a European trophy in 41 years. And I'm just so glad that Ange Postecoglou has delivered in his second season. How many times has he said that? And he just looks so happy at the end. His wife and his young kids run on the pitch, hugged him, and just to see the smile on his face, it just said everything.
What was the tension of the game like, Chris?
I bit my nails the whole of the second half, very nervous. But I was confident that Spurs were going to do it this year. And, yeah, there was a lot of confident Spurs fans going into this game, and we thought we were going to win it. But it's just an incredible feeling, and we should feel like this more.
It's been a long time since you've had the chance to. That's for sure. So that's chances that Man U created late, the saves that were made. Gosh, there are some moments that will live in folklore, I reckon.
Every single player played their part. I think Richarlison had his best game in a Spurs shirt. Of course, Son then came off the bench. Lifted that trophy as captain, which was great. Van der Ven's clearance off the line, Vicario saves in the second half. Every single player played their part, and that is how you win a trophy. Everyone needs to play their part, but incredible scenes. They were celebrating for nearly an hour after the game, and they didn't want to leave the pitch. The steward wanted to get them off the pitch, and the players would have stayed there all night if they were allowed.
What legacy has been created by Ange for Spurs? If it does end at the weekend, what will his lasting mark be?
To deliver a trophy, particularly a European trophy. You know, so many managers have come in, win now managers, Antonio Conte, Jose Mourinho, you know, a great coach in Mauricio Pochettino. We've had some incredible players, we've had some incredible managers, and they've failed to get us over the line, and Ange has done that, and I'm just absolutely delighted for him.
Have you held the faith with him, Chris, in the testing times?
I have. I've got to admit, I lost a little bit of faith after the Fulham game a couple of months ago because of the amount of defeats in the Premier League. But right now, in the early hours of, you know, just won a trophy, I'm not being negative about Ange Postecoglou or Tottenham Hotspur Football Club because I'm on a real high right now.
Yes, so you should be. Is there any chance that he does get a third season with Tottenham?
That's a big call for Daniel Levy and the board. They've made big decisions before about managers. Mauricio Pochettino took us to a Champions League final a couple of months later, then got the sack. Jose Mourinho got the sack 6 days before a cup final. Antonio Conte got the sack for saying a lot of truth in a press conference. So it's a big call, a big call.
Which way do you think it'll go?
I think Ange will probably have that mic drop moment and say, "There's your trophy."
Yep.
And I feel like he will probably leave the football club via mutual consent. But I feel like the club win because, of course, they've got their trophy. Ange has that record intact, and he'll go away and get a very good job again.
What will those celebrations be like, Chris? Not just tonight, which we can hear in the background, which is perfect, but will there be a parade and the like?
Oh, it'd be incredible on Friday. It's exactly why I'm travelling home later on this morning, because I wanted to be home for the parade on Friday. Cannot wait. And, of course, there'll be parading that trophy around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Sunday as well for the Brighton game. So it'll be absolute scenes there.
How big might the parade be?
hopefully you won't be able to get through that crowd, because there'll be thousands upon thousands of Spurs fans. You know, we've waited a long time for this, and there'll be thousands of people there, and it'll be absolute scenes. It'll be amazing.
Yeah, I bet it will. Just the backdrop of adversity, Chris. So this is not by any means a first-choice team with the crippling injuries that Spurs have suffered throughout the season. Makeshift midfield to get it done. Will that be part of the folklore, do you reckon, of this?
Yeah, of course, we've had so many injury problems this season, but I've been saying all week and leading up to this game that these players have got to grab this opportunity, you know, get their photos on the wall and be heroes. And I tell you what, I'm so proud of the team, so proud of every single player, and so proud of Ange Postecoglou, that the fact that they have delivered this trophy for us, because it just means so much to so many fans all around the world.
How big was the travelling brigade, Chris? How many Spurs fans are on the streets of Bilbao right now?
It was amazing. There's fans celebrating, and I'm sure that a lot of these guys probably won't go to bed tonight because they've been waiting for this moment for so long. But the amount of people that have come out here to support the club, even people without a ticket, they got, some of them drove, some of them went in camper vans, some of them went by boat, multiple planes, whatever they had to do to get out here, they did it.
I know this is hot, this has just happened. What's your favourite moment been?
Oh, definitely tonight. This is this has been one of the favourite moments, if not my favourite moment of supporting Spurs. And you know, you guys know that I follow Spurs all over, home and away, and it doesn't matter. Even if we have a friendly in Melbourne, I'm there. And this is my 100th game supporting Spurs this season, because I support the first team, the ladies team, and the development teams as well. So I've been all over, and this season hasn't been pretty. So it's definitely the moment of the season, but it's probably the moment of my life, actually. It's been incredible tonight.
Beautiful. Is there one image that you've seen or captured that you'll treasure in your heart?
It's just the smiles. I tell you what, I stood there doing a video, and I was just smiling the whole way through, feeling extremely emotional. And I won't lie, I did actually shed a few tears at the end, because just to see the smiles on everyone's faces, and you could just tell what it meant to them. It means a lot to the fan base, but it means a lot to these players and Postecoglou as well.
Good on you, Chris. Thanks for sharing it with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Chris Cowlin, so you can follow him on his socials, Cowlin. He's a multi-award-winning YouTuber, a podcaster. He sat with us in the studio when Spurs came to Melbourne, and that's from the streets of Bilbao, what it means right now and the legacy that Ange Postecoglou has created for Tottenham. Pete and Doreen, I'm a serial winner. Love that line. 5th in his first year to qualify for Europa, wins a trophy in the second, qualifies for Champions League for a third year. Everything that Spurs ever wanted. How could you not keep him for a third year? Crimo from Maidstone. In many ways, now is the perfect time for Ange to leave. He leaves achieving something some legendary managers couldn't, on a high, and can leave behind the Spurs dysfunction in the rearview mirror. That's from Michael, the British journalist who wrote that Ange would either be a clown or a hero. He certainly is not a clown. I guess that makes him the hero, Vander in Fitzroy. And I'm so happy for Ange. What a win. I'm an Arsenal supporter and I can't stand Spurs due to the way their supporters carry on. I guess all teams have them, but as an Aussie, you stack it right up them, Ange. That's Shane from Kyneton. And this is quite good, Jacob from Brunswick. Ludicrous. I had to choose between Spurs, my stepdad's team, and Crystal Palace Mum's mob in 1981. Spurs have always been number one, with Palace just behind. Both have been a hard watch. But we get this week delivered by the Carlton supporting local boy, Ange. I keep crying. Good on you, Jacob. Thank you for sending that through. 0433 98 11 16 is the 40 Winks temper text. The difference is temper. Just a slight delay to our strategy session today.
So, Tottenham have ended their 17-year wait for a major trophy. They beat Manchester United in the Europa League final in Bilbao. This is how it unfolded on 5 Live last night.
Well, these are the sounds of Bilbao. The game is about glory, and these supporters do not care about all the stuff that's been going on around it. They want to win this trophy here tonight towards Sarr. Low cross comes in, Johnson is there, he's smuggled the ball over the goal line. Brennan Johnson for Tottenham Hotspur. The breakthrough goal 4 minutes before half-time. Midway through the second half, then Spurs still lead 1-0. Free kick goes right down the throat. Enquiries lost it. Hoyland heads it goals. Fantastic goal line clearance by Van der Ven. The long wait is over. Tottenham Hotspur players drop to their knees. The substitutes spill onto the pitch, and the wild celebrations in the Tottenham Hotspur end.
It was an awful game, but Tottenham ruined it. Tottenham spoilt the game, and that was the game plan. It's just not what we're used to seeing from Ange Postecoglou. It was a gritty, horrible, defensive, determined performance.
It was an awful game. Let's hear a bit from the two managers, Ruben Amorim and first Ange Postecoglou.
Mate, I'm a winner.
Say.
I've been a serial winner my whole career. It's what I've done more than anything else, you know. And I know people talk about my football, which I'm very proud of, and I know people dismiss my achievements because, you know, they didn't happen to happen on this side of the world. But for me, they're all hard earned, and all I've done my whole career is win things.
In this moment, is really, I'm not going to be here defending myself. It's not my style. I cannot do it. Is really hard for me. So I have nothing to show to the fans and say, I'm going to improve because of this. I had these problems. I will not do nothing. So in this moment is a little bit of faith.
Tottenham fan and YouTuber Chris Cowlin and Manchester United fan Adam Haller join us from Bilbao. Morning, both.
Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Chris, I'll start with you. It was a really, it was a rubbish game with a rubbish goal that won it, and I don't imagine you care one bit.
I don't care at all. I tell you what, putting that trophy in the cabinet is absolutely delightful. We've got Champions League football next season. Ange Postecoglou, of course, has said so many times, I always win a trophy in my second season. And I think a lot of people expected Spurs to lose this game. And we quite often get criticised and bantered, you know, a lot from, you know, a lot of fans around the country saying that Spurs don't get over the line. But Ange Postecoglou has delivered the goods. Every single player gave their absolute all. And every single player was a hero last night, and it was absolutely brilliant to see. The atmosphere was incredible, and we've been waiting for this for so long.
Also, the thing is that one of the issues in the league, at least, is that Ange has the way that he wants to play, and he plays it even if it isn't working. And he's completely dropped that. In a couple of games in the Europa League already, but last night there was no Ange ball. Like, you barely had any shots for the second half. You just sat in and defended, and it was so pragmatic. And I sort of thought, this is not good to watch. But if I'm a Tottenham fan, I'm thinking, yes, absolutely, absolutely. A bit of a plan B is what we've wanted.
Yeah, and full credit to Ange Postecoglou, because he's been heavily criticised by a lot of fans, including a lot of Tottenham Hotspur fans, and it really does go to show that he can change and adapt. And like you said, in the knockout stages of the Europa League, the Frankfurt away game in particular was a really professional performance. The Bodo Glimt game, a lot of people thought that we were going to slip up in that tie. And then the final, you know, we beat Manchester United 4 times this season. And I'm sorry for my croaky voice, because I've been singing
You
and
do
had
not need
no
to
sleep
apologise
since
for
the
that.
game.
No, that's completely fine, Chris.
I'm at the airport right now, and I cannot wait to get home, because, of course, the parade is tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm glad that you haven't had any sleep, and I'm glad that your voice is croaky. Adam, for you, it's a long old journey, and it's not nice coming back after a defeat.
It isn't, no. I'm absolutely gutted still. You know, very disappointed in the team, the performance. Yesterday, I don't think United played particularly well in the second half. I thought there was a bright start to the game. I think in the first half, Ahmad was quite dangerous, but in the second, he just sort of fizzled out, and he was side to side. United looked toothless with no plan, but yeah, it will be difficult for all the United fans who will be travelling home over the next couple of days.
I think as well, like I very much thought that United would probably win last night, and I thought it would probably come down to Bruno Fernandes. He's just, you know, so many times for United, he comes up with the goods. He's a brilliant player, and he was I don't know what you thought. I thought he was just a bit off it last night.
Yeah, definitely. I think Bruno's probably been United's best player by a mile this season, and the day where you don't want him to drop a bad performance, it happened last night. And, you know, you see the effect that he has on the team. You know, there was nothing going through him last night. He's obviously the man that United count on when United don't have him to rely on, then there's nobody really. Like I said, I mentioned Ahmad, but I thought as the game went on, he fizzled out, and all they was doing was try and find him and seeing whether Ahmad could do anything. And it just wasn't happening. And of course, I know Bruno was on the pitch, but without his spark, they really need more.
He did create a few chances, though, in that second half. I mean, there was that amazing goal line clearance after Vicario had messed up horribly, and the Højlund header, that clearance from Van der Ven, and he made a really good save, Vicario, from Luke Shaw. There's that chance right at the end where I think it's Casemiro, actually, who puts it into the side netting. Like, they were creating, but just, Tottenham sort of, by hook or by crook, stood firm.
Yeah, I just thought the general pattern of the game, United were going side to side and they were toothless, and you know they were bound to create a couple of half openings, you know, with crosses into the box, but nowhere near as much as they should have. I mean, I've not seen the possession stats, and I'm not sure I want to go and see any highlights back, but I just felt as though they should have done much more in the second half.
Yeah,
but they didn't deserve to score.
Yeah, I think it was 80% possession in the second half for United. But there you go. Well, look, have a good journey back, Chris. Enjoy it. Enjoy the parade as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Cheers, guys. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Safe travels. Tottenham fan, Chris Cowlin, Manchester United fan, Adam Hallard there. Lots more reaction on the 5 Live Football Daily podcast on BBC Sounds. Phil in Bonnie Rigg says, as a neutral, I enjoyed the game end to end. It was not an awful game. I suppose what I admit, I'll qualify my statement. It was an awful game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I only saw the second half because I was working, but it was just, I think the standard was bad. It was exciting. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just the quality of football was pretty poor. Deborah in London, I'm going to assume, is a Spurs fan, says, I think we should call the final a classic. Not a problem. We will call it a classic. It's 17 minutes past 6.
The fans are in the grandstand, the boats are in the harbour, the cars are on the track.
On 5 Live.
It's all ice to the lights and foot to the floor as we go racing in Monaco.